Hey friends, welcome back to that 1870s homestead. My name's Rachel.
I'm Todd.
And it's been almost 2 weeks tomorrow since we tapped our maple and walnut trees to make our own syrup.
5 walnut trees and 2 maple trees is what we've tapped, and we've been collecting the sap
We've had some great runs.
on really great days, and then we have like not so great days and there's no sap.
Yep.
And continuously as we've been harvesting the sap, we've been boiling it. We boil it down to maybe 10% or 20% of what we had volume wise. Put it in jars, bottles, and then we freeze it. Today's the day when Rachel brought out all the frozen bottles and the 2 more buckets of sap that we had, and been boiling it down to its final state today.
Yep. Well, this is first batch because I ran out of room in the freezer.
Yeah.
And we still have 4 weeks to go in the season. So I'm like, we're going to have to do this in rounds. I've never had a season like this, and I've never tapped this early before. I usually wait till the beginning of March, late February, beginning of March. And the weather was just looking so right. So I'm like, and I saw my friends across Michigan doing it, and I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. Mm-hmm. And it's paying off big time.
It's not something you can ever go by date. It's temperature specific. You want daytime temperatures above freezing, nighttime temperatures below freezing. That's what gets the sap flowing up and down in the tree where you can siphon it off. We also harvested way more sap this year than we've ever done in a year.
In total.
Started a little journal, and we've been keeping track on the refrigerator. How much do you think we got so far? I'll just tell you.
100 quarts? Because that's how you've been measuring it, right?
I've been measuring it by quarts, but I did the math and divided it by 4 into gallons.
Okay, how much?
61 gallons.
61 gallons of sap. That's great for just such a small homestead. I told him what we're going to get out of this. I bet it's the most I've gotten in a whole season before.
Probably.
So exciting. And I'll just tell you what that is, and we'll see how close I am. I think the most I've ever gotten out of a season was like 9 pints of finished syrup. I feel like I'll have to go back and look at past videos.
Yeah.
But I feel like 9 pints, maybe. But we do it for the fun of it. It's absolutely delicious, and I treasure it. Maybe I won't have to treasure it this much this year.
We can give
But
some
we're
away.
above boiling point at this point, and it still takes a minute because we're going for about 219 degrees, and it still takes a bit to get to that stage. But it's outside, and I don't want to take my eyes off of it too much. I'm like fluctuating at that 213 right now. So we're gonna show you guys that final stage of making your own syrup from whatever trees you tap at home, and what you might expect if you have walnuts and you never considered tapping them before.
Get it to the final state. We're gonna filter it, let it cool a little bit, and then jar it up, and it will be done, ready to enjoy.
So we'll see you guys through the process.
We're having some issues out here. The bubbles on the inside were going so high.
Yeah, that I couldn't get the thermometer in to get a good reading, and the steam
You
too.
let me do that.
I couldn't see into the pot. So we're transferring it to my Amish water bath canner and gonna bring it inside. Not preferable with this much, but can you guys see it? It's getting really close. Back to 218.
So the finishing process in the house took about 40 minutes. Rachel brought it up to exactly 219 degrees. All kinds of weird things happen when it starts to get really close. The bubbles change, like these big giant bubbles happen from the bottom. And then all the small bubbles get smaller. It's like really weird what happens. This is our setup for filtering. We have the syrup. We have some sawhorses set up. We got a pre-filter set up here above, a final filter. Down below is our catch pan. We've never had quite the elaborate filter process before. So this is kind of new to us, but a lot of people use this setup, so we'll see how well it works.
Oh, nope. It's going straight down from that.
Oh.
Over the floor.
Sticky floor.
Nope.
Dogs, no. Cleanup crew's coming.
Okay, this filter is just falling through because it's not holding. There's nothing. Do you have your like little clips?
So our double layer of filtering seemed to be quite effective, almost too effective. In fact, the first pre-filter that we put on almost seems to be clogged already. So we're going very, very, very slow.
Because you're gonna have to be able to hold it somewhere while I put this one in, or unless you just hold it straight up. But then it's gonna drip when you pull it out here to pour it.
Right.
So I was thinking I don't know how we're gonna do it, but if somehow the whole thing was sitting inside this and you just flipped the top in and then just grabbed the bottom and pulled it up, you might get really sticky.
I was thinking of getting burned really bad. And when you go to the hospital and they say, what happened?
Hold on. Okay. Just stay down a little bit. We don't have to go up so high. Yeah, there you go.
And you have to explain to them that you burnt yourself with hot maple syrup. I don't know why these cones don't fit around this circle. I think I bought the wrong things or something.
Okay, so I think if you drop it in... No. Here, let me hold this. You let go. So this stuff is what's known as niter or sugar sand. And normally we're always left with some in a jar because we've never had such a nice filter system before. And it really doesn't affect the taste too much. It'll settle at the bottom of a jar. But it's just a little gritty. Well, it's the very next morning, and Todd did a lot of research this year. Normally, the maple syrup hobby is kind of him just setting me up and me going to town. But one of the things he researched was regarding the amount of niter that you might have in your jars. And he's like, really, two things: the right filter setup and then a lot of patience. Don't rush the filtering process. Yep. So we didn't, and the last jar filtered overnight. It was just a slowest drip because the syrup wasn't hot anymore. But this morning, basically then it was room temperature syrup when I woke up this morning. So we heated it back up to about 190 degrees on the stovetop, and then I've jarred it up, and we have almost 7 full pints of syrup. And we did look back last year. For the entire season, I got 6 pints. And we're only 2 weeks in, so that's exciting.
So for 61 gallons of sap, we got 7 pints.
Yes.
Which it sounds like really bad, but it's really normal.
It's mostly walnut too.
Right. Like we were saying in a previous video, the ratio of sap to syrup can be 40 to 1. It can be 50 to 1.
80 to 1.
It can be 80 to 1. It depends on the tree, and it also depends on the time of the year. Like seasonally by calendar, we're very early this year, but the weather's perfect for it. So the trees could be behaving a little bit differently every year depending on when you do something like this. And you don't have to, by any means, invest in a lot of stuff to do this. We're just using a turkey fryer, propane, 5-gallon buckets, some taps that we got on Amazon.
Yeah, it is a little expensive using the turkey fryer because we go through quite the amount of propane boiling it down. And we have talked about next year because not next year because we do this only every 2 seasons. And again, that's just me thinking I'm giving my trees a break. I don't know that there's any science behind that. But in the next time we do it, we'll likely have like a little cinder block set up or something with, we have an old, fuel oil tank that we might convert into something so we can use wood just to keep the cost down. But then you're out there tending to it a little bit more. So I decided to celebrate our maple syrup this morning with the last 2 pounds of our Tamworth bacon and French toast.
Looks good.
So thanks guys for coming. The syrup is amazing. It has the most wonderful, wonderful butter flavor. That's what I said. If you guys were with us when we tapped the trees, that walnut has almost like a buttery Scotch flavor. It's like if you're sucking on a Werther's. It is so good, so good.
Probably the darkest we've ever gotten.
Yes, I love it.
And the best flavor I think we've ever got.
The best flavor we have ever had.
Good job.
June, thanks for helping this year.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.